Hey trainers, Alakaham here with some more Pokemon video magic, and after a week or so of floundering through various seasonal cups, we are back to the Open Ultra League, which, as some of you may know, is my favorite league of GBL. So I am rocking a new Pokemon on this team, which is Lycanroc. I can still power up its CP a little bit, but I thought it was strong enough that I could go ahead and throw it into some battles, and I was not disappointed. Lycanroc is already pretty fun in the Great League, but I also think it's worth investing in for the Ultra League. It's not, just as meta as like a Walrein or something is going to be, but it is very strong, and I think that you will enjoy seeing our werewolf Pokemon here hanging out in the Ultra League. So I've been blathering on for a minute. We're going to go ahead and dive in on the commentary in these battles. The basic idea here is that Trevenant will be able to take out any of the things that are going to be a problem for Lycanroc later. We have multiple counters to say like water types and fighting types, right? Both Trevenant and Kingdra are going to be pretty good counters to water and fighting. So I think this generally works out pretty well. So we ended up having a really good lead, and then my opponent comes in with an Alolan Muck, and I came in with the Lycanroc there. And we ended up going down a shield because I didn't play it probably as well as I should have. There were moments where I should have anticipated that they were just going to let the Muck go. So I should have been going for Stone Edge instead of the Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs is a really cool move because it has the opportunity to debuff the opponent, but that's okay. We ended up getting the shield back with our Trevenant there. The only problem here is that our backline is very weak to Fairy. Lycanroc takes neutral damage from Fairy, and it is very glassy. And of course, Kingdra does not want to see a Fairy type at all. So you'll notice that I undercharged that just a little bit, and I did that on purpose, hoping that I could survive one Dragon Claw and then farm down. But as it turns out, I was not able to pull off this first match, I think largely because I misplayed the Lycanroc against the Alolan Muck. So Lycanroc was fairly new to me against these particular Pokemon and in this context, right? But I guarantee you things get better from here, and I think and hope that you will enjoy seeing some of this Lycanroc gameplay once I am a little more oriented to it. Okay, so I'll stick with the commentary a little more closely here now. I come into what is a pretty good lead against a Shadow Venusaur. One Shadow Ball will be taking out that Venusaur, so I thought it was pretty safe to go ahead and use a bait move. We will take massive damage from Sludge Bomb because it is stab coming from the Venusaur, and also because poison does super effective to plant, right? So my opponent calls the bait that time, which is unfortunate for me. I'm going to go ahead and shield here because neither of my Pokemon in the back really want much to do with Venusaur there. But we are able to farm down and get a lot of energy, so I feel good about being able to get that shield back. And my opponent brings in a Talonflame, and this is totally fine because Shadow Ball can do a lot of damage, so we're going to get that shield. Oh, it's not a Talonflame, it is a Typhlosion. So Typhlosion gets stuck. That's even better because it's not going to be ramping up its attack, but Typhlosion got stuck in that Incinerate animation. So now we can come in with the Kingdra and farm down, and this Pokemon in the back, Obstagoon, is actually really bad news for Lycanroc, but not for Kingdra. So I brought in Lycanroc just to chip whatever damage I could, and then of course I reached the Psychic Fang. And I was going to throw that to debuff my opponent, but wouldn't you know, we've got some go battle lag there, and even though I had the Psychic Fang ready to go for a while, the game would not let me click the charge move button, so I get taken out. But in this case, it doesn't matter that much. Kingdra was going to be able to more or less close the game anyway. Lycanroc getting in there to do some extra super effective damage with those counter fast moves was going to be icing on the cake. I was just hoping to showcase it a little more, but that's okay. Go battle lag gets us all at some point or another, doesn't it? And we were still able to close out that game. So we're going to hop in to the next match, and this is exactly what we want to see, is a Swampert on the lead here. I'm just going to Shadow Claw away, and I throw more or less right away. I was being careful to make sure that they were still in the middle of an animation for Mud Shot, which they were because they were trying to get to the Hydro Cannon there. Because they threw immediately, I knew it was just a Hydro Cannon and I could let it go. So I grab another Shadow Claw or two when they bring in the Talonflame, and I'm going to swap into Lycanroc. Lycanroc does fairly well here. The fact that Lycanroc is very glassy is sort of a downside, so it's not just like a hard counter to Talonflame, but because it is a rock type, it's going to be resisting the fire type moves, and of course it will be resisting Brave Bird. So now that my opponent sees that I have gone for a bait move, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Stone Edge, and we land it, throwing rocks in the air, knocking Talonflames right out of the sky. So at this point we're looking very, very good. Very, very good. Of course, I can let the Lycanroc go at this point because we have two much stronger counters in the back. It is kind of questionable coming in here with the Trevenant instead of the Kingdra because of this Registeel. So I should have come in with the Kingdra because Kingdra also resists things like Hydro Cannon, but also it could ramp up on some energy, and then I could save the health and potentially use that shield a little bit better with the Trevenant. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the shield, and I'm trying to get to that Shadow Ball, and we're getting lag again. I'm tapping on it, and okay. So it was mutual lag, so it lets me click on the Shadow Ball. I'm very happy that it finally let me do that. And thankfully, we are able to take out the Registeel. It does look like that Registeel was rocking Flash Cannon, which charges a little faster than legacy moves like Zap Cannon. But Zap Cannon is a little bit more advantageous in most situations because it automatically debuffs the attack of the opponent. But anyway, we were able to pull off that win. This is also a very good lead because Clowitzer is a water and rock type, so it's going to be at least double, maybe triple weak to the Seed Bombs here. And how about seeing a Clowitzer in the Open Great League or Ultra League? I did a video with Clowitzer a while ago, and it was shoutcasted by my favorite Pogo YouTuber, Shrady. And yeah, it's Clowitzer is tough to run, but it's really, really fun. So my opponent tries to call my bluff with their Mew, and I do land the Shadow Ball, so that works fine. We have all of our shields still, so I'm going to go ahead and shield up here because having used Ultra League Clowitzer myself, I know that it has access to Ice Beam, which is going to do a decent chunk of neutral damage to the Kingdra there. And my opponent has this is a really spicy team, so it looks like a Luxray in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Outrage, which does stupid damage, right? And of course, we would expect Lycanroc to be able to close that game out. It should have been able to counter down and then get a Psychic Fang through to close out the game. against the Clowritzer, so that one was pretty good. That was going to be a good game. In this case, I safe swapped into Lycanroc because there was an electric type, and now we're in a very bad spot, so I have to go for broke with the super effective move, and they did not expect the Stone Edge so quickly. Lycanroc does get to Stone Edge pretty fast with counter, and that is fantastic. I thought I was just in really bad shape because those waterfalls were tearing through Lycanroc. But as a water flying type, Gyarados takes super effective damage from Stone Edge, and Stone Edge gets stab from the Lycanroc. So some people run Crunch. That's also funny to see somebody throw a Focus Blast at a Trevenant. Focus Blast normally does a lot of damage, but it is resisted by Ghost types, so that's not really going to be more advantageous than doing some of the smaller moves there. Okay, so we still have all our shields. We're in pretty good shape here. We might get baited with an Acid Spray, yeah, which we do, but that's fine. We're just going to go ahead and commit to the Dragon Breath and the Octazooka. But to reflect on, or circle back to what I was saying before, some people like to run Crunch on Lycanroc, and I think that makes a lot of sense with the number of Psychic types that are in the Ultra League meta, but I just really love having access to a move that gets that stab, the same type attack bonus. And so I think Stone Edge is very worthwhile for the Ultra League Lycanroc especially. And you can imagine how handy that is when there's things like Talonflame running around, right? So at least you can threaten the Talonflame with moves like Stone Edge in ways that wouldn't quite be as threatening with other moves like Crunch. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the Lycanroc, and actually I am including a bonus battle here. I will do a full video with this later once I've had an opportunity to add a second move and everything. But I have been working on a shiny Ultra League Druddigon, and I gave it a test. This team hasn't lost yet for me. I realized that fairies would be problematic for the team, but it's it's been pretty fun. So we have a fairly neutral lead here in our bonus battle. We have Druddigon with Dragon Tail and Night Slash versus a Dragon Breath Giratina. The trade-off here is that Dragon Breath takes longer to charge, but of course Giratina is going to be a bit bulkier than our Druddigon. So I swap into my Cresselia, and for whatever reason they are staying in. They had lots of energy, so maybe they thought spamming out some what are they called, Shadow Sneaks for super effective damage was going to be good here. And the Shadow Sneaks, they are super effective, but they're not going to do enough damage that I feel a strong need to shield, especially when my opponent is running Dragon Breath instead of Shadow Claw. So yeah, Cress can just go for that move real quick, and I'll take shield advantage here, and I think that works fine. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Moonblast. My opponent's shields are down, so I feel like it's worthwhile to shield this to get to the Moonblast and do some super effective damage. I can either, maybe they have one shield left, I can either take that last shield, or I can blast them with some pretty intense super effective damage there. Yep, which I do. So that is that's good. And it was really important that I do that because I was still thinking about Lycanroc, the Lycanroc team. Never mind. I have two really good responses to the Obstagoon in the back, so no big deal. Now, I make a mistake here by assuming that they were going to shield, so I tried to bait them with Ice Punch, and I should have gone directly for Dynamic Punch. Then I swap into Druddigon, thinking that I can snipe, and I'm not able to snipe. But my opponent brings in a Mewtwo. I think this is a Shadow Mewtwo here. We'll have to see the animation. Yeah, they bring in a Shadow Mewtwo, which is glassy as all get out. So you see how much damage I did with Dragon Tails alone, right? So I'm going to save that shield for Poliwrath because no Pokemon on this team, or in general, really, wants to tank a Psystrike from a Shadow Mewtwo. So I saved the shield for Poliwrath, knowing that it could get to its charge move really quickly, and knowing that it would have a really good matchup against Obstagoon. So I could have gone for super effective damage with the Dynamic Punch, but that would have just been overkill, and Ice Punch is plenty of damage to take out the Goon here. So there we go. I haven't seen very many Druddigon in the Ultra League, but I think it is pretty fun. So I'm still going to be working on grabbing candy for my shiny Ultra League Druddigon, and hopefully I'll be able to do a video of that Pokemon for y'all here soon. It's been really fun playing with these more monstrous type Pokemon figures. I know they're all monsters just by name in some degree, but having werewolves and dragons and stuff has been kind of a fun way to pursue different kinds of theme teams here. Hope you had a good time watching the Lycanroc in Open Ultra League, and I'll have some more videos ready for you soon. Until next time, trainers.